Oh,
Shit, it's just crazy, yo. Um, what the
I'm on
fuck?
IMDb right now, just in case.
Yeah, yeah. They were like, I don't know. That was the rumor. Though. I don't know how true it is. That I'm like, what the fuck? Yes, but yes, this is That Ain't Rap Podcast. We back with another great movie review, as always, with my co-host Reg
What's
Thompson.
up?
And today we are talking about a movie that said uh, that's been filmed a couple years ago and it had a whole bunch of problems. It was finally released on was it this is City of Lies, about the Biggie and Pac murders, but it was mostly focused on the Biggie murder and investigation, and Russell Poole, that LAPD cop that was assigned to the case, and Johnny Depp plays Russell Poole. Um, Forrest Whitaker, he played Jack Jackson. He was a journalist who teamed up with Russell Poole. I think he wrote for the L.A. Times as well, and he teamed up with Russell Poole for, on an investigation, and there was a lot of you know people in their way to prevent them from the investigation. And it talks about that in this movie, and a lot of turmoil with this movie. I know Sylvester Stallone was supposed to play the lead role as Russell Poole, but supposedly, from what I heard, that he, for whatever reason, he left the project and he went off and did the Expendables, and you know, you know what happened with that with those films, and um he it was called, the movie was called Labyrinth. It wasn't even called City of Lies. It was called Labyrinth. That was the original title, and at some point they changed the title to City of Lies. The film was actually I think it was done in it was, I think it was finished in like 2016, if I'm not mistaken. And no, it was he Johnny Depp joined the cast in 2016. But this movie goes all the way back to 2013 because there's a British production company, Good Films, was reported to have bought the film rights to the book. I think there's a book about it called Labyrinth by Randall Sullivan, and that was 2013. And it was based on the corruption in the LAPD, and related to Russell Poole's investigation of Tupac and Biggie, which was never solved. And then 2016, Johnny Depp came on after Sylvester left. Um, what else? Yeah. So Johnny Depp and Forest Whitaker, they the main stars. Um, yeah. The filming began 2016 and it wrapped up in 2017. The first trailer for it was released in 2018. I don't even remember the trailer for this movie. Never saw it. It was released on Biggie's birthday, May 21st, 2018. The trailer. He would have been 46 then. Um, between now you had like the merger between Open Road Films and I'm Global, who formed Global Road Entertainment. The film was later then retitled to City of Lies, and it was given a release date of September 7th, 2018, the 22nd anniversary of Tupac's murder.
Right.
Then the film in 2018, in August 2018, the film got pulled from the schedule, reportedly due to an ongoing lawsuit involving Depp and the film's location manager. No replacement date was announced at that time. Then they said in 2018 that because of Depp's legal trouble, he was used as a scapegoat. It suggested that the LAPD may have been trying to suppress the film from coming out, in which they were negatively portrayed, and there were other major players that did not want this film released. Um, in July of last year of 2020, Adam Todd Brown argued that the film was suppressed by Valletta Wallace, so that she cannot reopen the Biggie murder case to sue the LAPD. And Valletta Wallace is also in the film playing herself.
Yep.
I find that interesting. There's another lawsuit filed against Miramax over $1 million in unpaid guarantees caused by pulling the film from release. The film premiered in Italy when it was screened on December 9th, 2018, out of competition at the Noir In Festival as a closing film of the event. It received a limited release on January 10th, 2019. I never saw it until recently. It was released on Blu-ray in Italy June 19th of 2019. So Italy had the Blu-ray of this already, and this film wasn't even out in America. March 4th of this past year, Saban Films. Saban was the company that was responsible for the Power Rangers. Anybody know the Power Rangers back in the day? That's Saban Films. They took over distribution rights and they scheduled the movie for release March 19th, 2021. That was also March 19th was also on my grandmother's anniversary when she passed away back in '93. Many movie theater venues were still closed because of COVID, but it was released finally on streaming, and finally I got to see it. Um, in the United States and Canada, the film grossed 275,000. That's what I'm saying. 200 only $225,000
Yeah.
from 501 theaters. It's opening weekend. Wow, that's crazy. Critical response: Rotten Tomatoes. The film holds an approval rating of 51% on 45 views with an average rating of 6 out of 10. The Chicago Sun-Times, Richard Roper from the Chicago Sun-Times gave the film 3 out of 4 stars, in large part due to the stellar work from Depp and Forest Whitaker. This is a valuable and somewhat illuminating look back at the senseless, stunning killings of two rap icons just 6 months apart. Hollywood Reporter John Defoe wrote, "This is a compelling drama with real-world concerns that shouldn't be ignored, and it deserves better than to be the victim of an actor's off-screen sins." So I guess they're dating, referring to when Johnny Depp and his ex-wife Amber Heard, they had like a huge bitter divorce and falling out, and Amber Heard is suing them, and she like allegedly she's accusing them of battery and stuff like that. So I think it has something to do with that as well. Yeah, but as far as the movie, I heard about this movie. I've been wanting to see it because I've always been a Johnny Depp fan from Edward Scissorhands, and even dating back to like his TV show 21 Jump Street when that was on the air, and um Dark Shadows and Pirates of the Caribbean. I've always been a Johnny Depp fan. I think he's a great actor, and he's pulled off so many different roles. And I think Stallone. I was a big Stallone fan in the '80s. I don't like all of his movies. I don't think he would have gave this film justice, like especially like with his acting chops. But I think definitely when you replace Stallone with Johnny Depp, and then you bring on a guy like Forrest Whitaker, it gives the film like this some credibility, especially with all the background stuff that was going on with it, and for the movie not people trying to suppress the movie from coming out. So I love their chemistry with Johnny Depp playing Russell Poole, and it's like I think it's like many years later when it's almost like he was narrated the film where like talking about his days as a LAPD officer, and when he finally got on the case, and what was going on, and the people that were trying to prevent him, like the LAPD, the sergeant at that time for the LAPD, and you know it seemed like every time he was like he went to somebody to ask to to get some information out of him, it was like a brushback, like Suge Knight was mentioned, and they were referring to Suge Knight, that was the head boss, but he had bosses under him that was calling the shots, and that referred to them, the bosses that put the hit out on Biggie, but Suge Knight greenlit the hit or whatever. And you know, Russell Crowe had some Russell Poole had some personal demons. Like he didn't have a great relationship with his son, and his son was like a baseball player. I think he was like in the minors trying to get to the majors, and he wasn't there for his son's games, and that put a toll on his marriage. And you know, I felt like he was like a down and out cop, but he was like reflecting back on probably his most famous case ever in his career was the Biggie and Pac murders. You know, you got Forrest Whitaker that comes in playing the journalist that, you know, he's writing about this case with Biggie and Pac and trying to get answers, and he connects or he tries to connect in the beginning with Russell Poole, and even him don't want to have nothing to do with him. And you know, over time, like they started working together, and I think they became friends, and trying to get to the bottom of this that needed to, people wanted answers. Just, like when everything happened, when Pac got killed, we didn't know anything. We still really don't know, what happened with his situation. And then 6 months later, Biggie gets gunned down, and you hear rumors, but we still can't put a finger to the shooter for his case. And I think it definitely they definitely hit on like all the real points. I want to say like a lot of the pictures they showed up, like they really showed like the actual pictures of like the LAPD officers that were involved in the case. Cause I remember like seeing like so many DVDs back then about people was talking about like this guy was involved in the case and they were under the LAPD. And Suge Knight had a lot of the force on payroll for death row. And they use like the real pictures of them. And you know even going back to like the night of the Biggie shooting, like after the Soul Train Awards, and like showing like they had there was like a scene where where Johnny Depp's character playing Russell Poole, like him and Forrest Whitaker, they're like his character, like they have like a whole makeshift model of like the street in Vegas. And showing like like they reenacting the that night when Biggie got into the suburban, and then he drives off, and then like when he stops at the light, and then the other car pulls up. And I like that. And they used like it looked like they got like they did their homework on this. And I think maybe that's why people were trying to stop the film from coming out, because it was accurate stuff that we heard in over the years. And you know people referring to seeing a guy in like a suit and a bow tie, and they pointed him out as the shooter for Biggie. And that was depicted in the film as well. And hearing about DJ Quick and Foxy Brown and Corrupt was at the scene when Biggie got killed. And I didn't even know some of that was going on. And I think it was a good depiction of a lot of the stuff that we already knew. But again, like when you bring on an actor like Forrest Whitaker and Johnny Depp for this role, and I think it had they brought credibility to this film. And it's a film that should have did a lot better. And who knows why it was halted from coming out. And I really feel like the LAPD and Chuck Knight probably didn't want it to come out, because it probably would have made them or feel like yo, like they the ones that were responsible for both Biggie and Pac dying. And um like it was really entertaining. And I thought Johnny Depp put on a great performance, with Forrest Whitaker. But I'm not surprised, because they're both great actors. And um, I thought they had great chemistry. And I only know Russell Poole from like seeing them on like the different documentaries over the years about the case and stuff like that. So I wasn't really um familiar with his background until like this film. And it showed like his what he was dealing with on the force, and then his personal life, the demons he was facing. And I thought it was a good film. What did you think about it?
I personally thought the film was pretty good for the most part.
Yeah.
Um, the whole Tupac and Biggie thing is still raising like a lot of questions. Like it's like every day something new is coming out, but we still have
Hmm.
yet to find the person who did it. I personally feel like this movie definitely tried to make like Russell Poole more of like a give insight about his personal life and whatnot,
Right.
especially with the stuff about his son and things like that too. I've always felt like the history about this movie, about how it got pushed back plenty of times, like it's just interesting as hell.
Right.
Guys feel like people have a higher power, trying to like stop this movie from coming out. Like you never
Mm-hmm.
really know. What else? Like Forrest Whitaker and Johnny Depp did their thing in this movie. It's like the chemistry, like you said, was very dope, very good. So yeah, I personally feel like this movie was pretty good. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's not like my all-time favorite movie regarding this topic, but I feel like it definitely did its job.
And it was like, it just felt like the LAPD kept that code, that secrecy, like the whole typical, boys in blue code. And it seemed like they all know, but they'll never talk.
Right,
And it was like, I think Russell Poole was probably the closest ever to find out, to cracking the case, and that's probably why he had to retire and leave the force, because I think at one point they kicked him off the case because I feel like he was getting too close. Like he knew, and he was asking too many questions, and they didn't like that, and they didn't like the fact that he wasn't a part of their reindeer games, that he wanted to get down to solving the case.
right,
And on top of that, then you got this writer that's writing, writing for the papers, and he wants to know also what's going on with the case. And they became a nuisance to the LAPD. And I think, if I definitely think that they would have cracked the case. Like it's a shame now. I believe he died, right, Russell Poole? I believe
yeah,
he
he
passed
does.
away. Yeah,
Yeah,
because he had a heart attack. They showed that in the film, like he had a heart attack or whatever, and you could tell like Forrest Whitaker's character, Jack Jackson, was devastated when he passed away, because they became friends. After not being friends in the beginning of working on the case, like they became friends over time, and trying to crack this case and coming so close. And then it's like, he had the heart attack. And I think, again, like it wasn't nothing surprising. It was just that the fact that it was like people were trying to keep it from coming out, it means that they nailed it to the point where the LAPD, like we know LAPD is behind it in some fashion. And people been saying that for years, and same thing with Suge Knight, people been saying that for years. So it's not nothing um surprising. My whole thing is the part, because I never understood, and I don't even think I still fully understand the night that Biggie got killed, because it seemed like it was a setup. But my whole
yeah.
thing is, like, the way that they showed the setup. I'm like, I always thought Puffy's car was behind Biggie's car, because I remember hearing Puffy in an interview. Unless I'm mistaken it. I'm mistaken what he was saying. I remember hearing him saying that his car was behind Biggie's car, and they saw when the car pulled up alongside the Suburban, and shot through the Suburban. And then when the car went around the corner, when the car sped off and went around the corner, that's when Biggie and everybody else got out the car and rushed to the passenger side. I always thought his car was behind Biggie's Suburban, but in the movie they're saying Puffy's car was in front of his, and he went through the red light. So why, if you the why isn't your artist's car following you? Why did Biggie's car stop at the red light and Puffy's car kept going? 'Cause I just feel like that's just so suspect to me.
That's what I'm saying.
You know what I'm saying? Or shouldn't your artist car be in front of you, be in front of the boss? You know what I'm saying? Like I don't understand. 'Cause I always felt like Puffy knows more than he's saying for whatever reason. Like why did his car go through the red light, and Biggie's car stopped? And who was driving? Who was in charge of driving that Suburban? Because Biggie wasn't driving. So who was in charge of driving that Suburban and stopped at the red light? because they have to give answers because were they assigned to the car and was told to stop at like any red light, or was they in on the setup? Because I feel like we have I don't feel like they're or if maybe they have questioned these people, but I just think that's so suspicious that whoever was driving Puffy's car went through the red light, and whoever and the driver for the Suburban with Biggie stopped at the red light because
Exactly.
it looked like a deliberate setup. Were they in on the setup, or was they just told to just stop at the red light like any normal person would? You know what I'm saying? But you're not carrying a normal person in the Suburban. You carrying one of the best MCs of all time. So that always like made me question Puffy. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't make sense to me. You know what I'm saying? And what does he know? I mean, maybe he didn't know a thing about it, and that's another thing. It's like who was in charge of the security? Because if Puffy is in charge of the security and handling your artists, why 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 are you supposed to know who's driving the Suburban and all that? What like how is this able to happen where your Suburban goes off and you leave your best selling artist on Bad Boy of all time at a red light to get killed? He has to do some answering for that too. If he was in charge of the security, how do you not know who's on your security? You know what I'm saying? Like the scene where and I don't know. I'm assuming all of this stuff is fictional. The boy, the teenage kid that went up to get Biggie's autograph, and he said he saw the guy in the suit in the suit and the bow tie, and he later on told the cops when they were questioning him at the police station that he remembers seeing the guy. And I don't know how true that is because I never heard about any boy going up to Big for an autograph or whatever before the shooting. But um again, like your security, like you can just have a boy go up to the car and ask for autograph for your artist. Like where's the? I think the security was lax that night, and I think if the person that shot Biggie wore a suit and bow tie and they were fronting like they were part of the security, that means Puffy didn't know a damn thing about who was on the security that night. So again, so if that's the case, then he still has questions that needs to be answered.
And even if he did know a thing and he already left and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
he could have just like you gotta also know, I think like in terms of 1997 and Bad Boy, I think the only albums that was really released was Life After Death, Harlem World, and No Way Out,
Right.
stuff like that. I know a lot of the albums got pushed back around that time too to
Oh,
'98.
did it? Well, I know they said that while Biggie was in Cali, he was working with Puffy on No Way Out.
Yes, he was.
And I didn't know that. I thought Puffy just after the Biggie's death, like he just ran to the studio and made it. I didn't know he was working on the album already because at that time, see, we didn't have the internet. At that time, I never heard about No Way Out until after Biggie passed away. That's when he came out with Can't Nobody Hold Me Down. I heard the Benjamins. I heard the first Benjamins mix with just him and and the Locks. It wasn't even Kim or Biggie added to that song yet. So I didn't know. I'm assuming all these years that he rushed to do No Way Out after Biggie's murder. I didn't know he was actually out in California putting the finishing touches on the album.
Yeah, he was.
You know what I'm saying? But it's like that that just made that whole night of how everything just played out. It looked like a deliberate setup, and that just made me question Puffy for so many years. Like you know more than you telling the cops, and I think it's because maybe he know that he fucked up if he was in charge of security, and he probably realized like yo, like all this shit was going on with your security, and you had no idea that end up getting your best selling artist killed. You know what I'm saying? And I think maybe I think that's why people feel like he's behind it. You know what I'm saying? And the Tupac thing, I always felt like Suge Knight was behind it. You know, People say it's not Shug. It's gang related because of what happened with Orlando. What's his name? Orlando Jackson or something like that. I
Yeah,
forgot the dude.
Lando Jackson. Yep.
Right, and you know that he retaliated against Pac because Pac and Shug beat his ass at the hotel or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Before I think it was like after the Tyson fight. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? So that people said that like is gang retaliation. That's why people not gonna talk about the Pac. Nobody's gonna snitch in the Pac murder because it's a gang thing. They got a code of silence. But I still feel like Shug is involved in that shit. Um, the Biggie thing, I don't know. I definitely feel like it's LAPD and maybe it's more. I feel like Shug is involved in that, but it's more LAPD that he greenlit that shit, but it's the LAPD that actually took it upon themselves to carry out the hit. But Shug is behind that also, and I think that's the reason, the main reason why this movie had trouble coming out. You know what I'm saying? Because of Shug Knight and because of the LAPD, and that just go to show you how guilty they are. Because if it's really them that was trying to halt the production and the debut of this film, then we know for sure like yo they got something to hide, and it's only a matter of time before we find out what really happened to both Pac and Biggie. You know,
Exactly.
you know what I'm saying. But I thought it was a good film. I suggest if people haven't watched it, it's on streaming now. If you have a Fire Stick, you can look for it on a lot of the movie apps. You know what I'm saying? Definitely. If, it's already on Blue. I believe it's already on Blu-ray in America. It's been on Blu-ray in Italy since 2019, which I've never heard of a movie being already on Blu-ray and it hasn't been released in the states. You know what I'm saying? So that's crazy, but definitely for any hip hop fan, for any like people that love murder investigations and want to try to crack this case on their own. Good luck to you. Look at the film and I think it's again like it's Johnny Depp. I think he was great as Russell Poole and Forrest Whitaker was great. They had great chemistry and um definitely I recommend watching it. And I don't see nobody discussing the film, but I said I'm going to discuss the film because I was in the building when both Biggie and Pac got murdered, and we the hip hop community needs to know who's behind these two iconic legends getting killed. So I'm like, why not talk about it? Any last words on the film? Any last thoughts?
All I want to say about this movie, I would definitely recommend it if you're interested in the whole Tupac, Biggie, or just interested in how the LAPD fucks people over. So
Right.
I would give this movie a good 4 out of 5, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Definitely a very,
Same.
very, very solid movie.
Definitely. The I didn't. It seemed like they didn't get the authorization to use the actual music from both artists, but they end up in the closing credits they end up using Biggie's lyrics, but it was like over different music.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that could be Puffy, doing that. I find it interesting that Valletta Wallace. That was another thing. Before we go, that was weird that you have Valletta Wallace, the actual mother of Biggie Smalls, in the film, and she's like it almost seemed like she was reenacting what happened in California to her son. I thought that was weird. You know what I'm saying? Like to have like the actual artist's mother in the film about her, and it's an actual movie, not a documentary about the when he got killed. I just thought that was weird.
Yep. You're right about that.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, and maybe she, maybe her people's a representative had a hand in making sure this movie finally came out because she was in it, and I know she's like she controls Biggie estate now, so Um, I just thought that was weird. Like I didn't expect to see Valletta Biggie's mother in the film about her own son's killing. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that was like her way to cope or to put to close things on that chapter of her life. Unfortunately, but I think we as the hip hop community gotta support this film because there's nobody else that's supporting it and talking about it. It almost didn't come out, and I think it would be we'll be doing a disservice to ourselves if we don't promote this film. So I'm glad that we had the opportunity to discuss this film, and I hope people check it out.
I appreciate you for
Yeah,
having me on, bro.
no doubt. And we're gonna continue to do more of these dope movie reviews. You know what I'm saying? And we got Conflicted coming up on your channel, and I can't wait to talk about that. You know, and subscribe to the channel, comment, like, share. Let me know if any of you got saw the film. What do you think about the film? If it is it good, is it bad? Let me know your thoughts.
All right.
All right,
Appreciate this, bro.
yeah, and
Have a
that's
good
it.
night.
All right, peace.
Peace.